day, everybody, from wherever you are in the world. It's yet another brilliant start to another week. My prayer is that you're doing well and that you're looking forward to a vibrant week ahead. Today, we're talking about the gift of goodbye, because I feel that a lot of us need to be able to know when it's time to say goodbye. And when people think about saying goodbye, they think immediately about saying goodbye to people, but it actually could be to seasons, it could be to things, it could be to clothes, it could be to roles, positions, work, jobs, it could be to a certain assignment, it could be to a specific geographical location that you're in. It could be different things. But what we need to be looking at is having an understanding of seasons and times and when it's time to say goodbye. Now, a lot of people recognize that it's time to say goodbye, but they don't have the gift of goodbye. Literally saying goodbye and moving on. A lot of people find that they hang on, they're insisting, they're forcing a matter, they're forcing a situation, they're forcing an environment. You're staying longer in a place that has long outlived you. See, in life, we have seasons, and in seasons, you've got things that are aligned to that season. It could be that you're called to a certain place, a certain country, a certain location, a certain job, a certain assignment, around certain people, communities, or even a relationship. Some relationships are for a lifetime. Some are forever. Some are for a season. Some are only for a short time, for a specific reason. I know a time in my life when I met somebody who I really was grateful, and I was so grateful to God for sending that person my way, because we were so aligned in so many ways. Our thinking, our experiences, our desires, the things we wanted to do, we were so aligned. And it was a breath of fresh air, right? And when I looked at this person, it looked to me that we were called to be in each other's lives for forever. We were so alike. You could say we were cut, from the same tree. Yeah? But you know what? In such a short time, this person was no longer in my life, and I was devastated. And when I began to think about, why it was so shortly before I could blink, they were gone, I realized that that person was in my life for a reason, not even a season, for a reason, a specific reason, that they came in, and thank God I was able to reflect and see exactly what their role had been in my life at that time. Now, why am I talking about the gift of goodbye? Well, can be easily tempted if we have not recognized that engagement or relationship was for a reason, not a season, nor a lifetime. What would I have possibly found myself doing? Calling and writing messages, keeping on calling and emailing and insisting and knocking on their doors and looking for them, when really their reason for being in my life had been fulfilled. This person was no longer responsive to our connection. And yet, we were really, happy, very aligned, really at a good space. There's nothing that happened between the two of us that could have caused anything negative at all. But you know what? I recognized that was a reason. That person was in my life for a reason. And I was able to recognize the reason for which they were in my life. And so I had to deal with that, understand it, appreciate the little moments that I had with this person, and really appreciate the reason for which they were brought into my life, and receive the gift of goodbye. What does that look like? Moving on swiftly. Acknowledging that reason was fulfilled, and that they were probably not sent to be in my life for longer than they were. And you see, if you don't recognize that and don't have the peaceful gift of goodbye, you end up eroding and toxifying a thing that had outlived its time in your life. Okay? Now, I'm not saying you go and erode all the relationships in your life when people are not calling, when people are not texting back. you have to understand that there's also processes towards building certain relationships, and those take their own progression. You have to recognize, when it is that the reason has been fulfilled, when it is the season has taken place, or when it is that it's for a lifetime, when it's really for that whole long haul, A few people, or maybe many people, like to run the race of life with their view on the rear. I wonder how you can actually maintain your speed, momentum, focus in a race when you're running looking behind. You're most likely to have a lot of distractions. You're most likely to lose your way. You're most likely to bump into things. You're most likely to be off course quickly. You're most likely never to win that race, let alone finish it. Okay? So, the gift of goodbye sometimes means that whatever has happened has happened. Put it back, put it where it needs to be in the past. Let the past be a blessing to you in terms of learnings and lessons, but keep your eye focused on ahead. Receive the gift of letting go of the past, the gift of goodbye, the gift of forgiving and letting it go, the gift of learning the lessons that you should have learned, the gift of not dwelling on regret. Because those who are always in regret, then you're not embracing the gift of goodbye. Just let it go. Say goodbye to that whole experience, good or bad, and let it go. Let it go. There are people who are dwelling on, in my language it says, when it was. Those stories, when I was. People begin stories of when I was 30, they are 70. You meet them, good morning, yeah, when I was 30. They cannot move past 30. They need to give themselves the gift of goodbye from the point of 30, so that you can be able to embrace what is before you. Okay? There are people who hang on people who no longer want to be with you. It could be a friendship. It could be a relationship, a romantic relationship. It could be whatever situation. It could be an employer-employee. And you're insisting and hanging on being with people who no longer respect, value, want to be with you, or even have any reason to be with you. Now, you know who's suffering in that instance? It is you. Because you're exposing yourself day after day after day in a situation that's not building your life, in a situation that is not adding value to you, in a situation that's eroding your self-esteem, your identity, and your value. Why would you want to drag yourself into that mud and put yourself in a place where you're continuously forcing yourself in the environment that you need to move out of? Give yourself the gift of goodbye and move. Now, while I'm saying that it's important to have the gift of goodbye, I don't want to underscore process that we all need to embrace in building relationships and in enduring environments. Some people would be in a job that they don't enjoy. Now, it's not all jobs we enjoy. It's not all jobs that we say we are going to be there just because we are liking it. You may need to be in a situation long enough to build your character, to build your process, knowledge, experience, competencies, skills. And you have to learn to thrive even in places that are not perfect for you, because there's lessons for you to learn in there. As it is in relationships, as it is in a marriage, as it is in parenting. How are we going to throw and give our children gifts of goodbye because they're stressing us? We've got to find the wisdom from God, the grace of God, the strength of God to be able to withstand. But we need to be able to discern when a matter is at its end, okay? And to see when is the right time to say goodbye. And when that right time is clear to you, and you will know it without a shadow of doubt, receive the gift of goodbye. Because if you're like me, I don't like hurting people. I don't like, I just love peace. I love everybody to be happy, including my enemies, So I used to find that I had a weakness of tolerating much more than I should, being in spaces much longer than I should, or taking more than I should. But then when I realized that I have done the best that I could have done in that situation, with that person, with whatever it is, then I gave myself the grace to have the gift of goodbye. Do it in love, do it with respect, do it with honor and dignity. Okay? So my prayer is that you will receive today, as you begin your week, the gift of goodbye. Analyze the things that you must give up and get out of, and take the gift of goodbye with you. Okay? Yeah, so I hope that you have a beautiful week and that your life becomes more valuable, lighter, and happier. Bless you.